as y'all, your old boy Pilk, and I'm coming back today with another, well, not a Doncro video, not a Dan Mimo video. We're actually coming back today with Fulland of Water and Light. That is the new console game that just dropped on the Nintendo Switch last month. So, and it's also on Steam. I need to mention that as well. I am playing the Switch version. If you guys didn't see my unboxing video on this, basically, there is a physical copy you can get through the Nintendo Switch, but you have to order it through Japan. That's actually the version that I'm playing right now. But what's really neat is this is a fully multilingual version. So essentially, there's no region coding. It automatically detects the language on your machine. And the translations are, okay. I'll be honest with you, the translations are maybe a 4 out of 5. There are some weird translation issues. But if you're like me and you're a big fan of collecting physical media, this is definitely the way to go. And what's really cool about this, and this is kind of unique to this, and I'm sorry, I'm going to pitch this once again, but there is a fully deluxe version that you can get right now, and I did check yesterday. There are still a few versions available on CD Japan. That's where I ordered mine from. It only took a few days to get here. Really wasn't that big of a deal, and because the yen to dollar is so weak right now, essentially you can pick up that whole thing shipped for about $100. It's roughly about what I paid. I think it's like $70, give or take. Again, that's going to change by the exchange rate and country you're in and all that good stuff. But it's about 100 yen, which came out to be about 70-ish bucks, and then shipping was like another $25, $30. So all in, after tax and everything, it was a little over $100, and you get an art book and all that stuff. If you want the base level of the game, it's like $30. And I know for those of us going into like the Switch 2 and all that, with the $80, $90 games, what's $30 for a brand new game, right? Like it's quite enjoyable. And even if the translations aren't perfect, for me, they're good enough, and usually the dialogue's actually pretty good here. What we're doing today, now, in the basic sense of the gameplay here, it is just a very simple Metroidvania game. It's not really all that groundbreaking. We'll go over some basic stuff you need to know. Obviously, as you can see here, we've got rolls. We can actually parry. Let's see if we get the parry timing down. There we go. Parries are strong. Parries are like some of your strongest effects here. But like I said, you got a basic attack, you have a triple attack, and based on, you can actually adjust the triple attack to do various things. I'll kind of cover that here briefly in a moment. And then, of course, it's Bell, so you've got the old trusty Firebolt. But parries are still your strongest asset. And if you didn't notice, like, basically, he took a ton of my health off. Like, I was at full health a minute ago. So every mob is a legitimate, incredible threat. I'm also playing one of the harder modes. So for me, I like that in a game. I want a challenge. I don't want it to be a gimme. If you guys remember back when we were doing Dan Mimo stuff, I always wanted to build teams that were really based around free-to-play teams that weren't necessarily the easiest teams to put together. I like a good challenge in a game. And that brings me to what we're going to discuss today, and that's this boss right here. Now, when we ended the stream last night, I was kind of up against a wall with this boss. Normally, as you saw there with parries are like your biggest asset, but the parry timing on this guy is really hard, mostly because he's airborne. So let's go ahead and give this a shot. Can't promise my first attempts here are going to be terribly successful, but there are some strategies we can discuss. And you'll notice I'm kind of sticking to just basic attacks. Now, one other thing I want to discuss here. Your spec board here, now I can't really adjust it at the moment, but your spec board basically changes the layout of your characters. It allows you to modify different abilities and things like that. Obviously, since I'm in a boss battle, I can't modify it right now. Yes, Bell and Eyes are playable characters, but it does change based on the story and all of that. So the other half of that is, so let's go ahead and hop back into the fight here. If you notice, there's a little, oh, I messed that one up. There's a little menu over there on my, kind of on my right, that's ZL, and then it's got different numbers and things like that. These are abilities you can use. Case in point, if I hit ZL, you'll notice there's a menu that comes up and allows me to press different buttons. And essentially, oh, I took a lot of damage there. So we can drop a heal here with L. But if I hit ZL, it'll allow me to use some abilities. And one of those abilities is Harahime's ability. Gives us a level boost. And that's been a huge asset here. Now, most of the rest of these do different things, and I'm not going to go over all of them because they do change from moment to moment. Ah! We're taking a lot of damage here because I'm yakking. We'll actually come back in and retry this here in a minute. But Wealth has this kind of like great fire attack that apparently did nothing in this situation. Horn can actually slow him down. And Lily's got her own thing going on as well. Okay, so we'll actually go in here and do this seriously this time instead of just kind of covering the basics. So this time, instead of messing around and getting bodied, I'm going to focus up on getting a good run in. So let's do this. So first things first, we got to dodge that first attack and hit him with a triple attack. There we go. Do that. Oop. Would help if I had dodged it. That's okay. Okay, my dodge timing's off apparently. Oh, he's not going to swap sides. Normally he'd swap sides after you did an attack there. Okay, so that's what I want. I'm going to go ahead and launch Welf's attack, Lily's attack. I'm going to launch all of these. We did take a little bit of damage there, but we're going to roll through it. And with Haruhime now in play, we're going to do a lot more damage. So we're going to knock down that stun counter and then just rapid fire firebolt him. Okay. Haruhime's buff isn't going to last a huge amount longer, so we're going to keep this going. Alright, I need to heal up, actually. There we go. Need to knock down that stun counter. Oof! We're taking a lot of just unnecessary damage. Alright, we're in phase 2 now. Man, I'm taking hits. So, if you can get that stun counter down. Alright, so when he's dropping these down, he's going to come at you here. So, I'm going to drop Welf, Horn, and Lily. And I could drop a Haru. And then we will just do absurd damage to this guy. And now he's stunned, so we can just unlaunch Firebolts. And you will notice that I have an SP attack, so we can unleash that. And he is just about down now. Now, short of me taking like all those hits that I didn't necessarily need to take, turns out that's really not that hard of a fight, honestly. So if you just plan your attacks accordingly, know the timing, study these fights like 1 or 2 turns, you can body most of them. The exception being here, I wasn't really able to counter him. It's really hard to counter that guy. I don't know. Maybe I'm just garbage at aerial counters. But nevertheless, guys, that's the fight. It really wasn't that big of a deal. It was just exhausted last night. So, if you guys are enjoying this game, go ahead and buy a copy of it. 100%, I recommend it. And honestly, if you want my personal opinion, if you can swing the $100, everything you get out of this is super worthwhile. Even if you can't, buy a physical copy from Japan. It'll work in your normal US Switch, and you've got a physical copy you can play forever. Regardless of the few foibles in this game, I've enjoyed it greatly. Let me know what you guys thought. Like, comment, share. I'll see you again soon.